Arbonne. Woo! Bonjour à tous. I couldn't be happier to be with you all today. This moment has been on my vision board since I started my business 7 years ago. My name is Stéphanie Bernier. I am an independent consultant and national vice president from Quebec, Canada. Arbonne, Arbonne came into my life as I was nearing the very end of my first maternity leave. I wasn't consciously looking for something, but I know unconsciously I had the desire for change. Prior to Arbonne, I was working in the food industry as a food chemist. I had spent many years in school and had begun working in my field to finally realize that the conventional day to day job was not something I could see myself doing for the rest of my professional life. During this same period of my life, I was also part of the national women's rugby team, fighting, fighting for a place in the next upcoming World Cup squad. These were the crazy years. I was working 45, 50 plus hours a week and working out multiple times a day, 6 days a week. I learned to be committed and disciplined and how to say no to the things that were not aligned with my goals. Every day, I was experiencing a new level of discomfort. I was continuously stretching myself both mentally and physically. Not only did I have the immense honor and privilege of representing Canada at the Women's World Cup in Paris in 2014, but we also ended up with a silver medal, which is still to this day the best result Canada has ever had. I will always remember the feeling of being part of something bigger than me and having an impact around me. That World Cup made women's rugby the fastest growing sport in Canada in the years that followed. All my courage and discomfort contributed to inspiring the next generation of young women to be strong and to dare to do something different. I now know that all the challenges and growth I went through as an international athlete and working full time prepared me for my life in Arbonne. I was longing for community and a sense of purpose and contribution the same way I felt in sport. I was first introduced to Arbonne via the products by one of my friends who happened to be an esthetician. She seemed too excited, like too excited about her new project. And I must admit that I was very skeptical at first. But I was looking for safer products for my baby girl. And with everything she told me about the ingredient policies, I decided to become a preferred client. Very quickly, she said that I would be good at sharing these products and selling them to others. And oh my gosh, was my ego rubbed the wrong way. I told her I would never do something like this, that I not only knew nothing about cosmetics, but I also did not study all these years to end up selling cream and lipstick. I know I'm not the only one in the arena that had this thought, okay? And here I am, 7 years later, having earned my way with a focus on selling those products while building a team alongside myself to do the same in the top 1% of the business. When I'm sharing my story, of course, I always tell people that they can go visit earnings.arbonne.com so that they can see for themselves what the typical earnings are at each level in the business, since my story isn't typical. It is possible, though, and I'm proof because I did it. I remember on a hot summer day in July, I ran, literally, pushing my 1-year-old in her stroller to my sponsor's house where I upgraded my account to independent consultant. I was so excited until she mentioned launch parties. I kindly told her that this was not something that I was interested in doing and that I wanted no trace of Arbonne on my social media. My goal was to earn my way to the top of this business without anyone knowing that I was selling Arbonne products. I know some of you have this idea too, okay? And for those of you that are planning on doing this, I'm doing it this way, I'm sorry to tell you that it didn't work. I finally decided to follow the system for building your sales and launch my business, as uncomfortable as it was for me. I earned my way to district manager and started believing more and more in myself. I still felt like an imposter as someone who knew nothing about this industry and the products, but I was willing to learn and commit the same way I did for school, work, and sport. And now, just so you know, no longer do I hide what I'm doing. My goal is to be the first person someone sees or hears if they are thinking about Arbonne. A few months after enrolling as an IC, I attended my first Canadian National Conference. I did my first Facebook Live when I came home. To this day, I am still tagged regularly in it because people want to show new consultants how bad I was when I started. True story. I feel a bit like a circus freak because you get a notification every time. But I'm willing to pay that price for people to see that transformation is inevitable if you work on yourself and your fears. So I have a little clip to show you.
Lundi matin, tout le monde. En ce début de semaine, je veux sortir de ma zone de confort. Alors, je mets une vidéo sur une page de conseillère.
Bon lundi, tout le monde. J'espère que vous allez bien, que vous avez passé un beau week-end. So you see the difference, okay? Today, I could not imagine my life without Arbonne. The lessons I've learned, the people I've met, the experiences I was able to live with my family, the person I've become, I have changed so much. The example I am set. And I know they're watching back home, so, the example I'm setting for my two girls and the contribution I get to have in this world are beyond anything I could have imagined possible. I'm grateful beyond words for this business, and especially this incredible community that really is the difference maker. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Emma Sangster. I am a very proud independent consultant and executive national vice president, and an even prouder mum of three. I started my Arbonne business 15 years ago as a 22-year-old when my life looked very different. At the time, I was a recent graduate working my first 9-to-5 job as well as 2 other jobs just to make ends meet. This was in 2008 when the economy was a bit of a mess and everything seemed to cost way more than it should. Sound familiar? I kept wondering to myself, how was I ever going to own my own house one day? Or when was I ever going to be able to get off this hamster wheel of constantly working and still not even having a little bit of extra time or money? I used to dream of the simple things like going into Zara and not having to look at the price tag before I made a purchase. Enter Arbonne. Honestly, hearing the vision about what this business opportunity could do for my life and the lives of others was the first time that I had hope that things could be different. I knew that it was going to take hard work, but I was absolutely willing to do what it took. Even though kids were not in the picture yet for me, I knew that in the next decade, I wanted to be a mum, and I wanted to prepare now for what that was going to look like in 10 years' time. I wanted the flexibility to be able to be a present parent while also being able to earn an income. And I knew that that required building the foundations of my business strong. Something that I wish they would teach us at school is that in any job or business, you're not just preparing for the life that you have right now, but for the life that you want in the future. It's so important to prepare for the future so that when those life changes happen, which they will, you have choice. I knew building my business to the top 1% of the company was not typical, but it was absolutely my goal. To get to that top 1%, I knew that I needed to be willing to do what 99% of people were not willing to do. So I got up early, I went to bed late, I traveled across the country to attend events and shared my vision with everyone that I knew. I shared the business opportunity and I shared our incredible products with friends, family, strangers, many people who went on to become customers, and many who went on to become members of our team. Did I get no after no? Yes, of course. But I knew that winners always get up one more time after they get knocked down. We promoted to nation a few months after my 26th birthday, and we became the 5th nation in the UK. Thank you. I'm now a mum of 3, and every day I thank that 22-year-old 15 years ago for working hard, for making sacrifices and building a strong business so that I can have the work-life balance that I always wanted and the flexibility to be a present parent to my 3 children at home. My kids have been able to grow up with both their parents present, and being able to see all their first words, their first steps together is something that I will be forever grateful for. The reason I work hard is not so that my kids don't have to. The reason I work hard is so that my kids know how to. My children know the importance of affirmations, hard work, setting goals, and talking positively to themselves and others, and they pick things up that I haven't taught them. They pick things up because they listen to what we say and they watch how we act. This business is so much more than nutrition, skincare, and an incredible business opportunity. My kids have had the privilege of growing up alongside this incredible community of positive, kick-ass business leaders who have played a massive role in who they are becoming. So from building this business as a 22-year-old looking to spend a little bit of extra on Zara, to building a business that has impacted my family's life in more ways that I could ever have imagined. What I want everyone to realize is that it's not just this life right now that we're working for. It's also the future life that we maybe don't have right now, but we will have one day. Living a life you love isn't just about having money, it's about having time and money. Do you know what the definition of success is to me? It's waking up happy. So many people do not have the privilege of waking up happy because they're going to a job they dislike, or because they want more flexibility, or because they're worried. We have a job to do, and it's to help more people wake up happy through our business and our products. And when we realize that that's our job description, it makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? So let's go and spread the happiness. Thanks for listening.
Joanne, when I was asked to speak on this stage in Las Vegas, I almost